So right now we're about to hop onto the Appalachian Trail right down here. And overall, it's a really nice looking day out. But today's challenge is going to be, there's a big batch of rain coming in from down this way in a couple hours. And what we're doing is we are hiking to the top of Apple Orchard Mountain up here. And Apple Orchard Mountain is the 22nd most prominent peak in the United States. And from here to the top, it's about 5 miles to the top and back down. So we need to get up there and back down before that heavy batch of rain. I'm not certain we're gonna make it, but we're gonna see. So to get to the Appalachian Trail, what you do is you walk down this forest road here. It kind of winds down that way. And then we're actually gonna climb up some wooden steps down here. But this road has seen better days. There's a lot of washouts in it, a few ruts to watch out for. And technically you could park further down here, but we like to get as much hiking in as we can. So we don't need to park down here. We like to get as much mileage as we can, even when it's a race against time with the rain. Clouds are starting to thicken a little bit now. Here we come to a set of steps. This is actually where the AT crosses. The Appalachian Trail crosses right here. And it's kind of neat to have these wooden steps in the middle of the AT. Everybody's got to climb up them now. So we're officially on the AT now. And that Thunder Hill shelter is just a little bit beyond where we're gonna end our hike today to turn around and come back. Now this is one of the steepest parts of the trail right here. It gets very rocky, small rocks, but they're the type that are kind of easy to trip on. So this part of the trail is usually a little slower going. But then once we get beyond this, it's a bunch of switchbacks with large boulders to climb over. That's one of my favorite parts of this trail. Trail stays nice and steep here, but he's 2 years old. This is his first big hike. He's quite a champion at hiking. I'm proud of him. Oh, that is a big rock. We start to get a few more rocks along the trail here. This kind of reminds me of the AT New England. I've done a lot of hiking on it there. Rocks everywhere in a lot of Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine, especially Mount Washington. We climbed Mount Washington with my now 5-year-old, and I carried him up on my back. That was quite a hike. But those clouds are starting to thicken and get darker. So now that the clouds are thickening, we need to move a little bit faster if we're going to get to the top and back before that heavy rain. So a new challenge for me is my load just got 50 pounds heavier. My 2-year-old son, he weighs about 32 pounds, and our pack with water, food, and the weight of this is about 18 pounds. So my knees are carrying a pretty good bit of weight right now. I like the challenge of it though. It's fun, it's good for me, and I get out of breath a little easier, but we move faster. We get into a stretch of trail here with a lot of rocks, but these are a lot bigger rocks. I kind of like these more. It's less like hiking on marbles. And these are pretty girthy. If they're wet, they're not, but today it's still dry because the rain hasn't hit yet. So we can make good time over these. Some of these rocks here are basically the size of cars. Really cool. So what we have for about the next mile and a half is we have kind of endless switchbacks as we wind up that way. Switchbacks are nice though, because instead of going straight up a hill, you get to wind around and gradually gain the elevation, which is nice, and I find I generally can make faster speed on switchbacks than on a straight steep slope. Neat thing about the trail along here is there's actually some grass on both sides of the trail. So it's kind of random because you're in the middle of woods here all around, but then you have grass lining the trail. Pretty cool. We are moving fast now. Got our max hike speed turned on. We are cranking to the top. This guy has it truly easy right now. He's singing a happy song back there. So this is one of my favorite parts of the hike. When you get to the top, you've got a bunch of these gnarly bushes up here, kind of overhang the trail and make a tunnel. It's pretty cool. And this is called Apple Orchard Mountain, not because there's an apple orchard up here, but because there's a lot of these short stubby trees that look like apple trees. The reason for that is this peak is 4,225 feet high, and the climate up here is quite harsh. This gets a lot of cold air up here, and there's a lot of wind. Wind gusts have easily been recorded over 120 miles per hour on the top of this mountain before. So the only trees that can really grow here and survive are these shorter, stubbier trees like this. They thrive in this climate, whereas a lot of other trees would not. There's also a lot of huge, huge boulders here. Those boulders I talked about before were car size. These are more like house size, RV size, house size. These are big. All right, we've got the final ascent looming in front of us. It's a good steep little climb. No switchbacks here, straight up. Big rock. Still got kind of a little bit of sun through those clouds too, shockingly. All right, we are about to enter the summit. The summit up here is really nice. We are about to enter this grassy meadow. Step over this final rock right here. And then the trail goes through a field. You wind around these nice pine trees here. You have incredible views off in both directions, including incredible views of some of our storm clouds rolling in. But we're at the top. There hasn't been a drop of rain yet. How you doing back there? What do you think about this hike? You like it? So another funny thing about this hike is our littlest, she's not quite a year old yet. She's been awake the entire hike, but then she falls asleep 2 minutes before the summit when we're gonna stop and get some snacks and water. Yeah, check out the views. This is looking west, northwest, and that's looking north along the AT. And then over this way, we're looking east, and then we're looking back to the south. And our precip today is kind of coming in from the southeast. So you can see those clouds right there racing in this way. So far, no rain, but I'm not certain we're gonna make it back to the car without it raining. Time will tell on that. Let's get a view up here of the sign. All right, right over here by this pine tree is our sign. Apple Orchard Mountain, elevation 4,225 feet. You can even tell that sign has been through a harsh climate. And the story of this dome up here is back in the 1970s. This used to be an Air Force base up here where they would watch for Soviet missiles. Some of the barracks remains are still there in the ground, some of the concrete footers you can see, but the rest of the barracks they tore down. And now this is an FAA radar tower. So basically it sits there doing what it needs to do. But the real treat about this mountain is over here. So after you see the sign, you go around this way and you cut through these trees. There's a small bonfire pit under these boulders over here. But the real treat is up here. So I'm gonna climb up on these rocks. This is where the best views on the entire mountain are found. Climb over in here. So I'm gonna get up on this rock right here. And up on here, excellent views. Love being up here, especially off in that direction. Those couple peaks down there that you see sticking up, the one closest is, I believe that's Head Foremost Mountain right there. The next one is Flat Top. Then the one that's a little pointier behind that is Sharp Top. Those two peaks down there are about 4,000 feet high. This one's a little bit shorter here. Even though from here they don't necessarily look like they're lower in elevation, they are. Then you have great views back in this direction as well. Yeah, this is my favorite vantage point up here. Anytime I climb this mountain, I have to get up on this point. The rain is definitely coming, so we're probably gonna get some quick snacks up here, feed the kids, get them their hydration, then we're gonna race back down this mountain. All right, it's time to head back down. We are gonna race back down this mountain. So we're heading back south now, which is the Georgia direction on the AT. By the way, Virginia has the most miles of the AT in it. I believe it has about 1/4 of the miles. In fact, it might be closer to 1/3. I'll look it up when I'm home and caption it in this video. We are ready to move. Of course, can usually move faster, but you have to watch out because if you fall on downhills, gravity is not your friend if you fall. Falling on downhills hurts quite bad. Falling uphill is a breeze. Falling downhill, not so fun. So we are extra careful, especially when I've got 50 extra pounds on my back. He would be fine if I fell forwards, but I would be feeling it for a few days. So check out that sky. It is getting really dark. You know, we set out on our hike to avoid rain and it started raining, but it actually feels good. It's not a heavy rain yet. It's probably gonna get heavier, but right now it actually feels pretty good. And I happen to be using the GoPro Hero 11 today, and that's waterproof. So it can rain all at once and the camera's gonna be fine. So we moved fast, but the rain moved faster. That precip shield came in a little bit sooner than expected. However, it's lighter than expected right now. I don't know if my mic's picking up the rain around me. You can hear it a little. You can probably see it a little on the camera. But right now, it's just pleasant. It's like walking through a mist on a hot day. It's enough to kind of cool you down because it was kind of humid and it got up like to low 70s. So with humidity, when you're climbing up a mountain, you do get kind of warm. So this right now feels pretty good. I'm loving it. So maybe rain isn't such a bad thing. especially when it's not thunder and lightning and wind. I have nothing really to complain about. Love trees like this one right here. Huge old tree. Some of those gnarled limbs. Some huge chunks it dropped off too. That tree has been there a long time. Love it. And the rain has stopped. But by the looks, there is some real heavy rain coming. So now we need to get back to the car before the really heavy stuff hits. Because when it's really heavy like that, nobody really wants to hike in that. Things get really slippery, and that one might have a little bit of lightning with it too. So we are gonna get back to the car, see if we can beat it. So we have made it back to those steps that we climbed up from the road on the way up. We're gonna go down the steps, bud. Would you like me to help you here? Good job. Here, do you wanna go down the rest on your own? Just take your time.
What's that way?
That way is down the road. Which way are we gonna go to get back to the car? All right, our final leg of the trip, up the road to the car. Sky's getting darker, but it's not that heavy rain yet. All right, so we have made it back to the parking lot where we started. It's currently not raining. It did rain on the adventure, but we got to the top without it raining. We got halfway back down without it raining. But the rain we did get was not excessively heavy, and it felt incredible. So sometimes the unexpected can be rather pleasant. Sometimes what I don't want can be pleasant when it does happen. So there's a lesson in that. Sometimes we view rainy weather as weather where it's not good to hike, but in today's case, it was great hiking weather, and we loved it. It's time to unsaddle and head out for some ice cream. The moment I opened the hatch on the car here, it started raining. And it's raining hard now too. Now that is what I call perfect timing. What a fabulous hike. I hope you enjoyed sharing in our adventure today.